All right, you guys, we are back and we are live. Welcome back to our daily live feed as you are logging on. If you would like to come work with me, suitsandposing.com is where you have to go. We do hair, makeup, suits and posing, all the fun stuff when it comes to competing. If you're logging on Instagram, we are also live on YouTube as well as Facebook. And it's actually a little bit of a better platform to go over on YouTube or Facebook because we have screen sharing. So you can listen and everything on Instagram. That's no problem. But it is a better experience if you're over on YouTube or Facebook. YouTube is the best because you can see all of the comments coming in, all of that, and participate with everything. But it is also available on Facebook too on our page there. Welcome, you guys. Welcome. Hope you guys are having a fantastic week already. I can't believe it's Wednesday already. These days, I say it all the time, these days go by faster every week. So if you were here with us last night, you saw that we upgraded all of our equipment. We have a new mic, which is great sound, much better than before. We have a new camera, which is much better. You can actually see really high definition, which is fantastic. But that also means that I got to be on point. My skin looking good. Can't hide behind that anymore. But yeah, I was really happy. I actually went back after the live feed last night and watched the replay on YouTube. It was much better, much better quality. So I'm very happy with that. And I can actually hear myself talk now, which is great. Couldn't do that before. So we got a whole new setup going on here. It's just going to get better from here. Also, if you are in the market for a new suit, if you check out right here, see my Spotify QR code. That's a QR code. QR code here for a free webinar. This will get you signed up for a free webinar on how to pick your perfect competition suit and teach you all of that. Teach you what goes into creating the perfect suit for you, a winning suit for you. So sign up for that. It is educational and it will really help you when it comes to choosing your suit and your package for the show day experience so that you look your absolute best. So, hello, welcome. And as always, if you're not already, subscribe on YouTube, like, comment, share. Even after these live feeds go up, you guys comment a lot during the live feed, which is awesome. If you can go back and you can comment for me after the live feeds replay, after they go back up onto YouTube. As soon as we get done here, they go and they repost. So you can go back and you can rewatch anything that you need to rewatch, any pieces that you missed or whatever. So when you do that, comment there for me too. That helps with the algorithm. That gets us seen more, which is all very helpful things, right? And I do take a lot of these and I do download them and put them onto my Spotify channel as well. So if you have a Spotify and you prefer to listen that way, you can listen and watch on Spotify as well. So we have them on pretty much every platform you can have them on. Just show us some love on those platforms. That really helps us. Okay. So tonight, what we are going to do is we're going to talk about the shows coming up this weekend. Real briefly, I'm going to go into them. But I wanted to also highlight the Samson Showdown because we didn't do that yesterday. And I'm not going to go through the top 5 at the Samson Showdown because there was only 5 people in it. So it is what it is. And that's what we're going to talk about in just a second. But before we get into that, I am going to highlight Alexis because she did win the Samson Showdown. And I wanted to make sure that I highlighted her for very good reason too. Let me pull up a good photo. All right. So this was the Samson Showdown. Again, there was only 5 wellness pros total in the entire lineup. So it's kind of disappointing, to be honest. Going into the show, we assumed that Alexis would win it, and she did. Hands down, won it. And to be perfectly honest with you, like I know people say that she's not big enough and blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. I actually think she's perfect for this category. I wish that this right here, I wish this was the criteria right here. I think it's very well balanced. I think it's not too muscular. I don't think it's too conditioned. I think she's got a really, really good package. And I would really like to see the criteria for wellness go to this level. I just, that I think would make it a more attainable look for a lot of people. And I think it would make it a more popular look for a lot of people, because what we see is we see a lot of these Brazilian girls, the Brazilian shows do well. But outside of Brazil, we're not seeing a lot of wellness competitors coming up. We're not seeing a lot of them come up in the States and things like that. We've got a few in the European countries, things like that. But these shows here in the US are just suffering big time. Again, only 5 competitors in this entire show. And really, I mean, Alexis was the only competition at this particular show, which, if I'm a competitor and I'm Alexis, that kind of sucks. Like, you don't want to walk into a show and just win it. Like, that's not what you want to do. Like, cool, she did, and she did it in amazing fashion. And again, I kind of think that this should be the criteria right here. And she's going to the Olympia, all of these kinds of things. But you don't want to walk into a show and not have anybody to push you, For the longest time, people always asked me, like, why don't I compete in natural federations, right? As a natural athlete, why don't I compete in natural federations? And my biggest reason why was because there's no competition. I would blow people away. Like, I want to get onto a stage where I feel like I'm being challenged, where I feel like I'm being pushed. Regardless of what the status is, I want to feel like I'm being pushed. It's great that she won the show. And again, I think that this was a really good look for her. I'm going to pull up a back shot for her too. Let me find one for you guys. This is probably the best back shot that I've seen her hit. Here we go. Here's one. I'd still like to see her toes come in a little bit. That was actually one of the critiques that one of the judges mentioned with her on her back pose. I'd like to see these toes come in a little. They're out a little too far. But I understand why she does that. But this is like a perfect look from the back. Like, she's got a small waist here. She's got some balance between the top and bottom, but she's not balanced like a bikini competitor would be. She's got fullness and roundness and pop to everything, and she's really not over conditioned at all. I think that's where we find a hard problem in wellness right now, is we see some girls coming in with super, super tight conditioning, and I don't think it was ever supposed to be that. So I like this look. I think that this is where she should be. I think this is where wellness should be, personally. This is my 2 cents. And again, I know some of the criteria has said that, she needs to be bigger. Critiques have said she needs to be bigger and all this kind of stuff. I don't think so. I would like this to stay here. If we could get a good range of wellness girls that are in this zone, I think we would do a whole lot better for the division across the board, right? The whole package was definitely better. Absolutely. I from top to bottom, I think that her package was better, which is why you want to do several shows. You want to make sure that you're testing looks and things like that, and you're trying out different things and trying to make things better and all of that stuff. And that's why you compete several times. And regardless of not having any like real competition at this show, she's still got some good experience, got some good critiques, I'm sure, understands what she needs to do in order to get into the Olympia and everything like that, little things like that. I will say, like, was mentioned right here that her makeup, the whole package and everything was better. I agree. I think everything looked a whole lot better here. One of the things I mentioned to her from the Arnold was I felt like her hair just stuck to her head a little bit too much. And this didn't do that. I feel like she's got a little bit more oomph there to the hair, which I do like. I think it's just enough. And it's still her look. Sometimes it's hard to go away from what your look is. You know what I mean? But this helped. This helped to glam her up a little bit. Personally, I'd still like to see what she looks like with a side part. That's my 2 cents. I think that side parts just automatically make you look a little bit more glamorous than the middle part. That's my 2 cents. I'd still like to see that, but this is better than what we saw at the Arnold. So overall, her whole package and everything, I think, was better. So again, this is no slouch to her or anything like that. She definitely looked the part. She definitely deserved the win. She definitely deserves the Olympia qualification. I just wish she had more people that actually, showed up to compete with her, that kind of thing. So that brings us to my point with this evening's podcast, whatever you want to call this. We have another show this coming weekend. And it's 7 competitors, right? I looked up each one of these competitors. I tried to look up Haley Arnold, and I found a bikini competitor. So I don't think that that's the same person. It might be an issue with like a spelling of the name or something like that. I just didn't find her. So I don't know if that's the same person, or maybe Haley Arnold and Haley Johnson are the same person. I don't know. But there's an error somewhere there. It could be on NBC News Online's website too, where the error is, but I couldn't find who Haley was. But looking at this list here, again, we're looking at 7 competitors. I'm sorry, 7, 6, 7. We're looking at 7 competitors. 7. You guys, like, this is where my part of my title comes in, where I'm saying, what the fuck? Like, really? This is like, we've had pro wellness now for 3 years, and these lineups are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. The Pittsburgh Pro, when it first debuted, was huge. It was huge, you guys. Now we're looking at 7 girls, 5 girls, 6 girls, that's it. And that's it. So I want to get your thoughts on this. Okay. This is my question to you. Why do you think the numbers are so small? Why do you think the numbers here are so small? Haley Arnold. Okay. I can't pull it up right now because I've got my live feed up on my phone, and I've got this going here, so I can't pull her profile up. But okay, I couldn't find her. So must have been a misspelling of her name or something. So yeah. Why do you think? I want to hear from you. Give me your 2 cents. Give me your 2 cents in the comments right now. I'm going to give it a minute. Give it a second, because I know that the Blackbeard's a little bit behind. Maybe they just don't fit the criteria just yet. Not big enough. Go ahead and put in some comments, and then I'll give my 2 cents. So again, for those of you just logging on, I'm asking, why do you think the pro lists for wellness, pro show lists are so small? Why? And again, I'm just letting some comments come in, and then I'll comment my 2 cents, and I'll, kind of dive into this a little bit. I'll wait another minute for some more comments to come in. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give my 2 cents, because a lot of these comments coming in are kind of touching on what I want to say. So, there's plenty of pros. No, there's plenty of pros to compete. Definitely plenty of pros. They've been making pros for 3-4 years now. There's plenty of pros. So, I believe what's happening is the criteria has been pushed too far in general. Now, it's really hard for, like, when you go to the Arnold, it's really hard, or I'm sorry, the Olympia, it's really hard to compete with somebody like Francielli, right? She's just perfect, right? So what happens is everybody else tries to push to be to that criteria. But when you're not built like that, you're just not built like that. So girls start pushing size, they start pushing conditioning, they start getting bigger, they start getting harder. And what ends up happening is those are the girls that are getting rewarded when you have shows where there's 5 girls that show up. Somebody has to get rewarded, right? So inevitably what happens is real quickly, the criteria gets pushed up really high. So until you have somebody like a Francielli show up, you don't have anybody that really fits that criteria well. So the criteria itself gets pushed in a different direction. And it's not because of the judging, it's because of who shows up on the stage that day. There's only so much you can do when there's only 5 girls that show up. Right? So I think that we've already pushed the boundaries too far in wellness. I'm just going to put it right out there. I really do. This is why I said I would like to see the criteria stick to an Alexis kind of look. If I had my say at some of these shows, like I get why certain girls are winning because their shape fits the criteria, but if they're too conditioned, don't reward them. If they're too big, don't reward them. And I agree that I think that the Brazilian girls have a huge advantage over the ones here in the States just because of genetics alone, right? Just because of genetics alone. But it's just, we have to be careful with this. We got to pull it back. Because it's going to get to the point where, as all of you are saying, new pros think that they're not big enough. They think that they can't be big enough to be competitive. So they're not showing up. I mean, why spend the money? Why waste the time? Why put the effort into the prep if you feel like you're not going to be competitive? Right? So that's my 2 cents. And I'm going to put it out there and I'm going to say it. I want to see the criteria for wellness be pulled back. And again, I would like to see girls like Alexis winning shows, right? I think that that's right down the middle where it needs to be, right? Anything further than that with criteria, anything further than that with muscularity needs to be really considered when we're actually rewarding people, right? So what do you guys think about that? And the comment of girls trying to keep up with the Brazilian ladies, the unfortunate part is that the Brazilian ladies aren't competing here in the States, right? So the girls that are getting pro cards here in the States, y'all don't have to compete with the Brazilians till you get to the Olympia, right? Like, you don't have to compete with them. They're competing in Brazil. There was a Brazilian pro show this past weekend. They're competing there. Let them compete there. They're not coming here. So as much as you're looking at looking at them for example and looking at them for criteria, they're actually not competing here in the States much at all. They're competing in their home countries. So, let that come out in the wash when they get to Olympia. I get it. They've got a genetic advantage across the board. They have a genetic advantage. It is, but we got it. We got to keep the criteria in check. It's almost like wellness compared to the men's open. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. The freak factor. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, it's just getting, to me, I want to see everything get pulled back down. Specifically conditioning. This is something I mentioned about bikini too. I don't like really hard conditioning on women in these divisions because it's very, very hard to do that as a female. It's very, very hard to get that kind of conditioning as a female. And a lot of things can go wrong real quick when you do. So that's my 2 cents. Like I said, when it comes to, all of these divisions, I don't have a problem as much with size as I do with conditioning. Conditioning is a big deal. Conditioning needs to be right down the middle. And when we push it too far, it's too far. So, I think, the unfortunate part about it is that you can only do so much when you've only got 5 or 6 girls that show up at a show, right? I want to see these pro shows be 15 girls deep, just like it is for bikini, right? Bikini is 15, 20 girls deep every single show. That's what wellness should be. And I understand why the competitors aren't showing up. I get it. So I'm hoping that, we can get this stuff in check, right? Because this division could be a whole lot bigger than it is right now. So that's my 2 cents going into this. Now with that, I want to pull up the a few of the competitors and stuff like that we're going to see this weekend, and kind of give my 2 cents as far as how this relates to this. So again, I just went in and I pulled names, and so right off the bat, we've got Amanda Burnett, who would probably be one of the front runners for this particular show. She did just compete. She was in the Arnold, right? Or am I wrong on that? Yeah, no, she did the Olympia. I don't know. I'm getting my shows confused. But her shape is good. She's had some issues with distension in her waistline, things like that. So I would say she's probably the one that we're looking at going into this. That would be the front runner for this particular show. She does sometimes have an issue with like I said, distension and conditioning and things like that. Yeah, I thought she did the Arnold, but I'm not seeing the Arnold on here for what. Oh, that's right. They didn't put the Arnold pictures on NPC News. That's right. Okay. That's why I got confused. Anyway, so she didn't have the best showing at the Arnold. I was in my head. I'm like, I remember seeing her other than the Olympia. So she didn't have the best look at the Arnold. Maybe these few weeks off will have helped her, but she's competed a lot. She's competed a lot this past year. So when you do that, again, that puts a lot of stress on your body. So I'm not sure if having, that month off was enough for her. Because of that, she may get edged out here. I still, like I said, I would say she's probably your front runner to potentially win this. But anything could happen this weekend. Anything could happen. So we'll see. We'll see how she does. The next girl that I brought up is actually a crossover from Women's Physique. So this is Catherine McLaren when she was in Women's Physique. I believe this was the Arnold. Yeah. So she was in Women's Physique. Now she's in Wellness. Okay. So she did the Texas Pro. We actually talked about her a little bit when we were doing the videos and things like that. When we were talking about presentation, we were talking about the comparisons and showing the criteria and things like that. So I don't see her winning this show. She, to me, still looks like a Women's Physique competitor. Let me see if I can find a decent shot for her. Here, you can even see it here. Like, to me, this is a balanced physique, right? This is her lower half and her upper half match. So this is not the fullness in the quads that you would see in a wellness competitor, that kind of thing. So I don't see her really winning this. She's going to be top 6, like everybody's going to be top 6. I can't give a top 5 prediction because that would be everybody in the lineup. So so with that, like, again, I don't see her winning this. I don't see her having grown, that quad sweep and things like that since this summer. But we'll see. We'll see what she looks like when she shows up this coming weekend. It's really hard when you're transitioning from another division, period. When you win a pro card in one division, it's very, very difficult to transition to another one. Trust me, I know. I won my pro card in figure and I transitioned to bikini. It's hard. It's a very hard thing to do, to be competitive. There's a reason why you win your pro card in a certain division. It's because your body fits that division. So we'll see. We'll see. This girl right here, Alessia, I don't know how to pronounce it. She just won the overall at the USAs. Okay. She's going to be top 6. Yes. So this girl just won the USAs overall. Okay. I want to highlight her specifically because I would like to see this look win. I don't know what she's done since the USAs. I don't know what she looks like now. I don't know any of those things. I believe this is going to be her pro debut, if I'm not mistaken, because I don't see anything else. But I would like to see this kind of look get a win. You can see she's clearly wellness. She's got some capped delts here. So I don't know, maybe that was a little bit of her feedback, bring this down a little bit. But she's got the lower half going on, all of that. Conditioning's not over the top. I would absolutely change the suit because that is a near malfunction for sure. So hopefully she's got a new suit. But this would be a look that I would be really happy with winning. Right. Let me see if I can find a back shot here. Now, I'm sure since she won her pro card, I'm sure she's probably put on some size. But again, going back to, I would be okay with her winning it like this, right? This is on par. I mean, she's a little bit smaller, a little bit softer than what we just saw from Alexis. But this would be on par with that kind of look. So I would love to see something like this win. We'll see how it plays out. But I think something like this would be very helpful for the division. This would be a very helpful win for the division itself. I want to see more looks like this go this direction, right? So we'll see what she looks like. Again, I don't know because she hasn't made a pro debut yet. But that could be very, very good potentially if we can get some more looks like this, right? This is also a pro debut, I believe. Nicole Stewart. Not too familiar with her. To me, this physique is just a little flat with what she has here. So maybe if she has some more pop to her muscle or something like that, then I would be okay with this. She's just a little, to me, it looks a little depleted in this particular look. But if she fills out and has some more pop, this would be another look that I would be okay with. She's got just enough size. Her conditioning is not over the top. Again, she needs to fill out. She needs to fill out a little bit, but it's not over the top. It's not too much. She's a little bit hard, though, a little bit green. That's just because she's not full. Let's see if we have a decent shot here. Yeah, I mean, her shape's decent. I still like that Alyssa girl better as far as shape is concerned. Posing needs work for sure. But again, going back to this conditioning is okay. She just needs to be filled out, right? And when I say that, what I mean is that she's not too lean. She just doesn't have enough pop to her muscle. So if she pops that muscle, she'd be all right here. I still like Alyssa's shape better. And she needs to work on the posing here. But this could be a decent look too. Not too big, not too hard, right? Not too big, not too hard. Again, I'm going to repeat that. I want to see not too big, not too hard win. And, so if either of these girls win this, I'd be happy with that, right? So, let me see. So this is another one right here. So this is Jennifer, and she's done quite a few shows here too. She's another one that when I look at her, I tend to think figure. She needs to grow a little bit into her lower half. Let me see. I can pull up this one. And I'm not sure. She might have been a figure in the past. But you can see she looks really kind of big on the upper body in comparison to lower. She's close. She just needs some more fullness on the bottom. And again, she's another one that has a little bit, her conditioning's a little bit past where I'd like to see it. So, she's one of those ones I'd like to see like her upper body come down a little bit and her lower body to come up a little bit and her conditioning to not be quite so hard. I know she's come very close to winning shows already. So I do expect her to be in the mix. I expect her to be in like the top 2, 3, that kind of thing. Top 6. Everybody's getting top 6. But we'll see what she looks like. I think this show, she took second at this particular show. And this was back in October or something like that. Let me pull up a back shot. So she's had a decent amount of time to have off. Let me pull up a back shot here. So, again, she just needs some more size in the lower half. She's just a little too hard for me. And what I mean by size, I mean glutes. Legs are fine. I wouldn't grow any legs. I would just need some glutes. I'd like to see some fullness in that upper glute. Like we talk about that a lot with bikini. I'd like to see some upper glute fullness. And I'd like to see some roundness in the quads from the front. So she could be in the hunt for the win here. We'll see. Again, I would like to see the smaller, just a little bit softer girls actually win these shows. If she comes in a little bit softer, I think that could be very good for her. As far as, so the question that came in, how would you enforce that? I'm not sure what you mean by enforce. If you're talking about like criteria, I mean, you can't enforce stuff. You have to reward what shows up. That's the unfortunate part about being a judge is that you just have to reward what shows up. You can't put everybody in last place, right? You can't put everybody in last place. So I've talked to judges about this kind of thing in the past. I've been a judge myself. It's really hard when you don't have somebody that fits the criteria, because somebody has to win and somebody has to lose. You know what I mean? So, okay. Sorry. I was like, I don't know what this is in reference to, but, but, it's just one of those things. It's like, that's why I say for the girls that are sitting back and not competing, get on stage so that they have more people to choose from. It's hard to direct a criteria when you don't have competitors showing up. When you've only got 5 girls, 6 girls showing up at a show, there's only so much you can do as a judge, right? There's only so much you can do as a judge. So that's my 2 cents in that regard. I will be curious to see how it goes this weekend. Just from the pictures and things like that, I would like to see a shape like Alyssa's win it. I would like to see a shape like Alyssa's win it. I hope I'm saying her name right. I might be saying it wrong. But what do you guys think? What's your 2 cents? I'll give it a minute. And while we're waiting, like I said, you want to learn how to get a perfect competition suit right here? My free webinar. Scan that code. It's a free webinar going on tomorrow, right here. Okay. Touche. I don't like that. I agree. I'd love the division to go that route. Yeah, 100%. 100% would love to see that happen. And I think that would be good for everyone. I think it would be great for the competitors. I think it would be great for the division. I think it would be great for the shows. I think it would be great for the promoters, all of that. So yeah, I'm curious to see how this plays out. And, again, going back to, just because somebody was an Olympian last year in this particular division, that doesn't mean a whole lot, because, again, a lot of these girls won shows that had 5 girls in them, so we don't have a clear criteria other than Francielli, really. You know what I mean? No, it's not. I'm telling you, it's not on the judges. It's not on the judges. It's on who shows up. Because, again, if you look at the Arnold and you look at Cassandra that won it, she was not one of the bigger girls on that stage. She was not one of the most conditioned girls on that stage. And she won it because she was the closest to the criteria. So the judges can only judge what shows up. That's it. Right. So it would attract more newbies because it would seem a bit more attainable. Absolutely. 100%. Yep. As a new competitor coming in, when you look up to pros, you got to look at a pro and say, I can look like that. I can get there. I want to get there. Right. So we need to have women in these positions where girls look up and say, I can look like that and I want to look like that. Right. So, yep. With judging to criteria, it goes back to, and I talk to the judges at every show. You can only judge what shows up. So you can only judge what shows up that day. And I think when we're in this bodybuilding world, it's very hard to segment the fact that the mainstream people don't look at the sport the way that we do, right? You walk into a gym with a little bit of muscle on you, just a little bit, and you get people saying that you're on steroids. You know what I mean? I get it all the time. I've gotten it forever, since even when I was like my skinniest. When I was doing runway, they told me I was too muscular. That's the normal mainstream people don't look at people in this sport and think that we're attainable. Any of us, none of us, not any division. So, doctors, I know, right? No, it's true. It's true. I was laughing at the adductor machine comment. So we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. I really hope that more new wellness girls just decide to start competing, because the judges can't steer the criteria if they don't have people to push it that way. You know what I mean? So it's my 2 cents. My 2 cents. And with that, we're going to wrap up tonight's live feed. Again, if you want to attend my free webinar tomorrow right here, scan that. It will teach you everything you need to know about choosing the perfect competition suit. And it's really, really beneficial if you are actually in the market for a competition suit and the value that you get from it. So that's that right there. And it's actually suitsymposing.com. So you can also go to suitsymposing.com and you can sign up there. So that works. All right. So I hope you guys have had a great week so far. We will come on again live tomorrow night. And as you know, we've been started this new segment where we start talking about preps and off seasons and programming and things like that. So we'll do that tomorrow night. And other than that, I'm going to let you guys all go back to your lives, and make sure that when we get done with all this, you go back and you like and comment this particular video on YouTube so that we can get help with that algorithm. That really helps us there. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. I will talk to you soon. And I'm going to log off of Instagram first and then YouTube.